What do we got? Got that. Let these Twitch Writers Network know about this. Right there. And we gotta let that old. Whew. So. Okay. All right. Everybody who's going to get notified has been notified. So today we're doing a run back through Visions of Gary, chapter number 64. It's relatively short, and I just want to make sure that we're hitting the right points on this motherfucker. Look at these giant dice that I got for Fiasco. Like, hold on. I don't know how giant they look there. Just for comparison's sake, here's a normal set of dice, which is partially green screen. So, yeah, man, look how much bigger they are. No, I'm fucking kidding with you right here. Like, here is what a normal fucking die looks like. Hold on, let me, this makes more sense. Oh, I can't do the overhead cam right now. It's not turned on. But, let's see here. Yeah, so that's the difference in size right there. God damn. These dice are fucking big. It's like 4 times the size of the other kind. So that's cool. That'll be visually neat when we're doing the overhead camera. I actually have like a bunch of giant dice floating around in here for various RPG-driven streams that I want to run, but never do. Because the only time I have energy is early in the morning. And I spend that energy on doing this, and then the rest of the day I just fuck off and play video games. LOL. So while we got it, let's make it happen. So this is Lemon Maybe and the Electric Lady by Zak Zyz, chapter 64, Visions of Gary. It's 4.7, happening at 5:18 p.m. at Clement Clark Moore Park. Some Jesus. The words roll out of Gary's mouth like he's adding sides to a dinner order. Medium rare porterhouse, garlic mash, some Jesus, and a glass of the house red, comma. Gary opens his eyes. I'm going to add a glass of the house coffee to yours truly. Gary opens his eyes and there's a vigil standing over him. An honor guard of junkies and panhandlers staring down expectantly. Yep. So we're... Even though this is kind of a run-on sentence right here, it doesn't make sense for that to be 2 sentences. It really just doesn't track right to me. So let's try this. Gary opens his eyes and there's a vigil standing over him. An honor guard of junkies and panhandlers staring down expectantly. And then we can make this stare down expectantly. So there. Now it's Gary opens his eyes. There's a vigil standing... yeah, let's just make... Gary opens his eyes. There's a vigil standing over him, an honor guard of junkies and panhandlers, staring down expectantly. Okay, cool. So we fucked herself. An honor guard of junkies and panhandlers stare down expectantly. They've laid Gary on a concrete picnic table in Clement Clark Moore Park and covered him with blankets. What kind of blankets would homeless people... with ratty blankets? Normally, the gaggle of bums would have been shooed out of a nice park like this, but at the moment, the police have bigger fish to fry. Normally, Gary's guys would have been shooed out of a nice park like this, but at the moment, the police have bigger fish to fry. The yuppies on the block. Alright, let me make sure I'm using decamped right. This sounds right. Why am I not connected to Eon internets? Why does that keep fucking happening? Gotta get rid of this fucking router is what I'm gonna do. I'll do that today. Okay, cool. Now we back. Ah. All that fucking effort. And fucked over by OSX. Well, do me a favor and don't try to triangulate the location of the writing studio based on the wireless networks that are here. That actually could have been a disaster, because there's one wireless network that I was planning on setting up yesterday that would have revealed a lot of controversial data about, you know, the standards and practicing of the writing mill. Because it's not just me. There's also, like, the 10 Indonesian children that I have in the basement just clacking out the hits. Okay, yeah, it really is to just get the fuck out of an area. Yeah. They've laid Gary on a concrete picnic table in Clement Clark Moore Park and covered him with ratty blankets. Normally, Yuppies keep showing up to use the park. They blench when they see the unwashed horde. These men are dangerous. Better. I like that we get to throw a blench in there. You get one of those a book, right? There are just some words that soar a little too high to have them more than once in a book. God damn, I can't believe we got less than 200 pages to go on this thing. And they're 200 hard pages too. They're not easy, but I'm gonna see if I can't. Yeah, I'm trying Spud Newt's fasting thing today. I didn't eat anything since like 5 p.m. last night, and I'm already hungry. So 12 of 24 hours right there. We'll see how it goes. It's not like a long fast or anything like that. I'm gonna start off with a day, but I figure, you know, if I eat one less day out of 7, that's not bad. Really and truly, I'm gonna flame out at like noon, but we'll see what I can do. They're dangerous. I like that. Gary can feel it. Taut readiness in the necks and shoulders of his guardians. Gary can feel the taut readiness in the necks and shoulders of his guardians. Necks and shoulders, it just seems wrong to me. Let's just take that out. Gary can feel the taut readiness in his guardians. They're armed with pocket knives, filed-down screwdrivers, anything they could lay hands on. One guy's even holding a grapefruit-sized rock, as if it might come down to that. Stone. As if it might come down to that. Stone Age combat to defend their rotund messiah. Whew. Through their charitable eyes, Gary sees his heavy body laid out on the table. He's not surprised I didn't take him to a hospital. An aquifer of fear runs beneath these men, informing every movement and influencing every thought. You can't go to a cop. He'll hit you with a vagrancy charge. Or with his baton if he feels like it, and you can't do a fucking thing if he does. Fucker will claim you assaulted him. Can't go to a hospital. They want ID, they want money, they'll call the cops if you come in an OD, send you upstate. It's better to just ride it out. Have heaving and shaking behind a building somewheres. Okay. Yeah, this needs help. You can't go to the cops. They'll hit you with the vagrancy charge or with their fucking batons if the mood is right. Can't do anything if they do. Fuckers will claim you assaulted them. You can't go to a hospital. They want ID, they want money. If you come in on an OD, it's a free ticket upstate. Come. Better just ride it out. Do your penance, heaving and shaking behind a building somewheres. Oh, I like that a lot better. So that's like a slight improvement. I'm not 100% that we switch cop from singular to plural right there. It just doesn't hit quite as hard. Fuckers will claim you assaulted them. Yeah. Yeah, this is better. Can't go to a hospital either. They want ID, they want money. If you come in on an OD, it's a free ticket upstate. Better just ride it out. Do your penance, heaving and shaking behind a building somewheres. Yeah. There's not a man here who hasn't been ass out long enough to grasp these basic truths. It's a big old world, and it doesn't give a fuck about little men. It's a big old world out here. Doesn't give a fuck about little men. No one gives a fuck about the little people. So here he is. That's why Gary is resting on a bench. His entourage has been waiting beside him for hours. He could have died. Some Jesus. Thanks, guys. I'm okay. Gary's voice is feeble. He can only manage a few words which are swallowed by a wave of joy and relief from his flock. His eyes close and he's swept along in the good feeling, soaring on high as the vagabond choir sings. As the vagabond choir harmonizes. The good feeling is over too fast. Joy fades and The unexpected joy fades away. One by one they plunge, succumbing to their little niggling worries and discomforts, breaking the cycle. And breaking the cipher. God damn. The joy fades. One by one they plunge, succumbing to their little niggling worries and discomforts, breaking the cipher. Now Gary feels the piston thrust of anger. Yeah. They could have kept going. Could have ridden that wave all the way to heaven. Gary almost shouts at them. He knows they'd cringe, somewhat abase themselves for None would understand why. None of them would have a clue what he was mad about. They know not what they do. The thrill is gone. Gary is cast back into their endless uncertainty. Gary is cast back into their endless uncertainty, the unrelenting and omnidirectional grasping of their individual wants. But from that morass, he can draw magic. He just has to bring them all together. Now he knows they're capable of more. From this morass of men he can draw magic. He just needs to get them all on the same page. Whew. All right. The thrill is gone. Gary is cast back. Gary is dragged down into their endless uncertainty, the unrelenting and omnidirectional grasping of their individual wants. But now he knows they're capable of more. They can be so much more. From this morass of men, Gary can draw magic. From this morass of men, he can draw Gary can draw magic. He just needs to get them all on the same page. Gary... The idea captivates him, arranging his flock into an emotional choir, teaching them all to feel as one. "100 minds resonating on the same wavelength. 1,000. The vision sprawls outward until he's imagining 100,000 people gathered around him in Yankee Stadium, holding hands. Gary would stand atop a golden pillar rising from the pitcher's mound as a human antenna. Okay, and all the some Jesuses should be like a capital J. Just putting it out there. Boom, some Jesus. Again, he's dragged back to Earth by his men. He's been staring into space for too long. The guys are getting worried. Again, Gary is dragged back to Earth by his men. He's been staring into space for too long. The guys are getting worried. All of them are wondering the same thing in a dozen different ways. Yeah. The fuck happened back there, Gary? What the fuck did happen back there? Was he just overwhelmed in the moment, or is his power getting stronger? For the 10,000th time, Gary thinks about the woman who killed him. nearly killed him. Sarah, with the dark wells under her eyes, sitting across the table from him and wringing her hands. Terrified of herself, afraid of the thing inside of her. Power growing stronger every day, bigger and bigger. Power that grows stronger every day. Soon it will be... I don't like Dustin. Gary understands Sarah better now. His orchestra is a pipe beam. More of this power will break him. But maybe it's not even that. What if I have it? The big one. The nuclear worry. Huntington's disease. The familiar fear he shoved to the back of his mind so many times it's practically engraved there. What if he's got it? What if this whole thing is one big hallucination? A funny quirk of his nervous system dismantling itself? Their eyes are on him. Gary's been silent for too long. His followers demand an answer. I think I had a vision. I think I had a vision. Pure bullshit. But it's the right kind of bullshit. I have to meditate on this. Need time on my own to sort it out. Gary's men are nodding, murmuring okay, but their minds are screaming no. Don't leave us. All of them. Everyone has the same fear. They'll take their eyes off him and he'll vanish. The magic will turn out like everything else. Tomorrow morning at the diner, Gary resolves. Ooh. Alright, better. Oh. Oh. Let me see. Mm-hmm. So this is chapter 65 right here. This is one where, yeah, I'm kind of sad that the most of the editing crew has been kind of on hiatus for the morning, because this would be a good spot to have an assist. Let's see how many pages this chapter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it's like 10 pages here. I do not know that I can get through 10 pages a chapter. Well, let's give it a fucking shot. It's early in the morning. I got a lot of sleep. Let me get up and waltz around for a hot second, though. Yeah, I think, honestly, really and truly, I think there are just not enough chapters where I'm like, I don't feel like editing more, and I don't just power fucking through it. This is what I ought to be doing. So that's what we're gonna do today. All right, so this is chapter 65. 01001101 01000001 0101 010001 001001. I mean, not do the whole thing. I think it just spells out. Well, I'll let you guys figure it out in binary if you want to know. But it happens at 6:45 p.m. in Harlem. So it's got to be pretty close to. Let's figure out where the night should fall in this scene. LoveTimeAndDate.com. You guys are the real ones. All right, so let's get back to 2006. And then October. Just what a useful ass chart for them to have online for yours truly. And this is like, so the sun is going to set. It's already set by the time we set it here. So we need to move the chapter back if we don't want the sun to be setting. But civil twilight. What the hell is civil twilight? I don't know what that is. Well, it's later than nautical twilight. I'll tell you that much. Why am I doing this? Da 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 da. BR, where did you go to? Is the access code that printed on the top little strip of paper. Yeah. How the fuck do you spell germaphobe? Germaphobe. Okay, so that used to be the master admin password for a Fortune 500 company. Some 100,000 machines use that password. So if you can figure it out, have fun. Although I've changed like a couple of characters in there, so it's no longer anything. All right, what do we got here? Somebody's hollering at me. Oh shit! I forgot to topic this shit. No wonder I couldn't. Oh, apparently the Three Gorges Dam is about to explode. Maybe that's the CIA working on that. Uh, cool. What do we got here? People messaging me on that 8chan. Oh, I made that graphic. Nice. Yeah, it's nice. I just like browsed into ENN and saw like an old ENN logo I had made. I could tell it was me. It was like all gradiented and shaded and so forth. And then I just sent a message of support to Pound Stress. Nice. Okay, yeah, I had forgotten to topic this in ye old LRH there. Whew. Yeah, definitely. My editing fortunes rising and falling here. It's been like a quiet week. Normally, there are more chatters up in here. Oh, wait, hold on. Do I need to get rid of that guy? Yeah, probably need to get rid of that motherfucker. We'll do it later. Yeah, it's weird too. I guess the phenomenon is probably when your actual friends are scarce, like you're more liable to notice like creepy motherfuckers. So yeah, it's just like a weird phenomenon. This chapter is gonna. We'll probably get through about half of this today. It's a tough chapter. Ooh, it would make a lot more sense if it was a, mini din or something like that. But okay, so this is a chapter where I'm gonna get some actual keyboard hardware things because it might be that it doesn't make any fucking sense for her to be able to actually like send out sound out like the signal code there. Like she would have like no idea about like processors and so forth. All that shit is just way too fast for a human being to parse. But maybe like maybe the signal would be like more like a musical note to something where she could actually do something. I don't know. This is also a scene that could get cut. It's like 10 pages long. It's supposed to be one of the like users is, but it does go somewhere. So let's try and edit through it, and then we'll think later if we got to do something. Yeah, what was I thinking when I was writing this? Let me see. You know, it dawns on me that I need far more coffee than what I had in that cup. Let me get a cup of coffee, and then we'll come back to this chapter. Oh, okay. I can't believe somebody's still with me after all that. Alright, now I'm suitably fueled to make it through more of this chapter here. I need a haircut so bad. My barber is not open. And, yeah, like, I may not be loyal in a lot of things in this life, but I'm loyal to a barber. If I get a good haircut, I keep going to that guy until he fucks it up. Or in this case, oh no, it's a guy now. It was a woman for a little bit, but then she fucked it up, so now it's a dude. Yeah, I'm like looking around this room trying to think of There's a whole world of electricity humming inside this machine. Charges rocketing through minuscule channels, smoldering in capacitors. Okay. Sarah fires another S down the keyboard wire and tries to track its progress through the computer. It's impossibly fast. Oh shit. So we have Sissy Juice 2667 joining us on twitch.tv. Welcome to the editing stream. I think you're the only one today. we're on page 512 of our 675 pages of editing that we need to get done here. This is my 10th novel, somewhere around there. It's up there. Right now we're working on a chapter about a young woman who can see and feel electricity, learning how to fuck with computers. And I'm Zak Zyz. Who is this? This is me. I'm Zak Zyz. I guess you should search for my name, and websites and books and stuff like that will come up. This character is Sarah Shiner. She's 25 years old. She's unemployed and is a drunk. This is a story about a bunch of people at a dive bar in Hell's Kitchen getting superpowers that they just can't deal with. Am I rich? I guess I'm rich in words, not so much in finances. I guess comparatively to most people, I'm rich. I mean, I'm on a computer screen, so I'm rich enough that I can spend every morning doing this and still eat food. So, that rich. Let me see here. Smoldering in capacitors. Am I from America? Yeah, I'm from New Orleans. It's a city in the south part of America, in a state we call Louisiana. It's where we put all the dumb people in our country. But, let me see, Sissy Juice, yeah, I can't, I would guess that you were Indonesian or something, if I had to. But, just because we're doing Indonesian. Yeah, I'm a writer from America, a science fiction writer for the most part. I have 5 novels in print at the moment right here. I've been doing this for 20 years. Not. Okay, well, that's just a fucking guess. You know, there are hundreds of countries in the world. I don't have a lot to go on. So, you can just guess, oh, then you must be Indian, and then you've got like a 1 in 6 chance to be right, and then you can be like, oh, you must be some kind of Chinese, and you got like a 1 in 6 chance to be right. I'm not from Indonesia. Well, I tried, you know. There's a pretty decent chance that somebody that you talk to is from Indonesia. There's a lot of them. Yeah, everywhere. Tiny charges are rocketing through channels, smoldering in capacitors. All right, well, where are you from? If not from Indonesia. All right, let me take one more guess. Taiwan. Bam. That's my guess. Not from Asia. What am I playing a fucking game right here? I mean, not from Asia. And we can just guess that you're probably not from Africa. From Northern Europe. Oh, okay. Let me see. Yeah, I like the Low Countries myself. I try to go to Amsterdam about once a year, and I enjoy Holland. There's a board game festival that I go to in Essen in Germany, which I like quite a bit, but I haven't traveled much through the rest of Scandinavia. So I would assume, like Northern Europe means to me usually like Finland or like Belarus or something like that. And do we still have the coronavirus in our country? Yeah, it's everywhere. Here in New York City, we're still wearing masks pretty much everywhere. Most businesses are closed. You can't go into a restaurant and sit down. Although some restaurants you can sit outside. Riding on the subway is like a nightmare. I don't know why anybody would ever want to do it there. I might never ride the subway again if I can help it. What else we got there? So subway is awful. So I ride a motorcycle. So just not too long ago, I was like riding through a neighborhood called Brownsville, and which is like one of the poorer and let's just say like more crime-ridden parts of our city here, even though it's not that bad. And they have mobile morgues, which are these refrigerated tents that they've set out on the sidewalk because the hospitals, the morgues are full, and they have nowhere to stack the bodies. So yeah, that's still kind of going on at the moment there. Right now, it's like worse in the south and west and so forth. I don't think I've gotten it so far, but it might only be a matter of time. But yeah, it's pretty bad in this country. A lot of old and fat people are dying as a consequence of it. Not too much like the younger people. Apparently, bald men are the most at risk to die from it. And I'm doing okay at the moment, knock on wood. Ugh. Am I drinking Coca-Cola that makes me fat? No. Yeah, like I might maybe once in a blue moon have a Coke, but this is coffee. I make my own cold brew, and it is excellent. I get the absolute finest beans known to man, and I grind them down myself, and I cold brew them in a giant glass drip tower. It looks like a meth lab. And then I probably drink about 3 liters of coffee a week, to tell you the truth. That's yeah. So it's very much the opposite of making you fat. Makes you skinny as fuck because you're jittery all the time. Cold coffee? Nah, you're missing out, man. That's where it's at. Like I like coffee hot and coffee cold, but nothing like a smooth cold cup of cold brew early in the morning while you're trying to edit a difficult chapter. Yeah, cold coffee's fucking where it's at, man. You gotta give it a try sometime. Because it's not just when you brew it cold. So I would drink like cold coffee out of a cup all the time. I just like any kind of coffee. But when you brew it cold, the less of the caffeine and stuff gets burned away, so the flavor is like a little bit different than if you had brewed it hot and just like left it in a refrigerator. It's a whole different thing. But yeah, in general, if you don't like coffee, you're not gonna like coffee. What can I say? Before this moment, the code chattering around her was just. Let's make sure that we don't use chattering somewhere else. Chittering and chattering. I like that we get that chitter chatter. Yeah. This is difficult. Yeah. It's not a well written chapter for the most part. And I don't feel like I have expertise in the like we didn't do enough research on this chapter into how electronics actually work. And I think my idea was that I just float it by a consultant or something. One thing that I'm learning as I'm editing this here is if you lack the background understanding of what you're writing about, then it's more difficult to write about it in the first place. It's not just you need to have somebody come in and fix the things that you have wrong. It's the lack of inherent understanding makes the writing weaker. So yeah, it would probably behoove me to do like a primer on how basic electronics work before going through this, but it's too late now. So just something to learn for the next chapter. The book that I'm working on, I'm planning to write after this. I'm actually reading two books for it. One is a book called The Knowledge, which I think somebody gave me as a Christmas gift or something like that. So The Knowledge is, oh hell, that just gave me like a really neat idea. Yeah, I'm totally gonna do that. I'm gonna put together like well, that's gonna be a surprise. I can't talk about it on this stream. But the knowledge is about reconstructing society after like a nuclear bomb fallout or whatever. All the different things that you need to know to go from like Stone Age to a relatively technologically advanced age. And then the other book is called The Art of Language Invention. It's about conlangs, and it's written by the guy who came up with Dothraki and other shit. For like I don't know, maybe this dude invented Klingon or something like that. But it's about constructing your own languages for use in fantasy type stuff. And I think everybody has a real hard on for that because that's how the Lord of the Rings came about. Like J.R.R. Tolkien was like, I'll create Elfish. And then he was like, well, I should do something with this now that I've made it. And like wrote the Lord of the Rings and never saw a penny of it. Oh, damn, that's good coffee. So, yeah, I don't want to spoil what I'm working on after this book, but it's going to involve those two things. Speaking of smells fading to the background, that's one of the more striking passages in The Stand, The Stand is like one of my favorite books. I think Stephen King really outdid himself with that one. But there's a passage in The Stand where Larry Underwood is visiting. He's talking about walking through which tunnel? I think he's like walking through the Holland Tunnel to get to New Jersey, and it's just full of corpses. And he's trying like not to smell them because they were like baking in the hot sun. And it's like mid June or something like that. And he's reminded of a trip that he took with his mother to the monkey house. And after a little bit, like he found he couldn't smell the monkeys anymore. And his mother's like, okay, yeah, like Larry, why don't you take a deep breath and think to yourself, I'm going to smell what the monkey house really smells like. And then all this primate funk rushes back in at him at once. He'd gotten used to the smell, but drawing that deep breath, he like smells everything all over at once. And then he pukes up his hot dog and his ice cream cone and everything. But yeah, it's, though I may be fucking up some of the details there, it's funny how scenes like that you read in books, like it's been years since I read that, and I still remember it pretty vividly. So shout out to Stephen King. He's a good writer sometimes. Ooh. So what was monitor technology in be an IPS yeah. Mm-hmm. So it'd be an LCD. Mm-hmm. My eyes are too fucking tired to do anything but focus. All right, hold on. Okay, so that gets her out of the computer cafe here. How long did we spend on that? 65, 2, 3, 4. Okay, cool. So it's just 4 pages, so we're not going to split this into 2 different chapters. Is this all that's left? All right, so let's start here. Losing herself. Wait. Time Cop's accusation finally came true. I am a Magneto install engineer today. I keep browing. Oh, shit. What is a Magneto install engineer? I have no idea what... Oh, shit. Hold on. We need to... I can't believe I lost our... Here, I need to pin this to the start menu. And then... There we go. And then we gotta warm up the bot. But you will get... Oh, I have to give you the point again also. Because it doesn't... if the page isn't open, it doesn't track. Magneto is an e-commerce CMS thing. Oh, so it's like fucking Joomla or some horse shit like that? Or like fucking ZenCart or whatever nonsense Jewbird works on all day long. By the way, for people just tuning in, Jewbird is actually the guy's chat nickname. And he is Jewish. We're not slamming on the Jews. Though we will slam on Jewbird for obvious reasons, because he's schizophrenic. But it's like Shopify, but you have to install it yourself. Okay. Yeah, like, let me not do that. I don't ever... That sounds awful. Hopefully they're paying you lots of money. Yeah, Spathy, I can't believe you missed the start of this chapter, because it's full of... Honestly, we gotta get JL Soft in here on this shit so we can, like, huff and make his, like, face. It's about Sarah at a computer cafe, learning how to type by just inducing current, at first directly into the keyboard keys, and then she's like, why am I doing this? And she's just, like, sending charge up the wire directly into the USB port. And, honestly, she should probably like fry 3 or 4 computers and get into like an adversarial relationship with this fat guy, but we missed our chance to do that. Okay, so why would she look at the screen when she can read the signal right off the VGA or just off of the RAM? And we get into that a little bit. It's because those changes are happening too fast for a human being to perceive, right? Like, there's just no. Your brain can't possibly keep up on that. You know, we're millisecond people, and those are picosecond transactions. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting too. Like the idea that she can do things like, oh, by the way, here the title of this chapter. Uh, when we started, I was like actually reading out the entire title of the chapter. It was like 0111 0111 012 mate, you know, like so it's so stupid. But yeah, this is one where I really need to get somebody who has a much better idea of how electronics work, gander at it. But yeah, we talk about, so there's an intricate web of electricity humming inside this machine. Tiny charges are rocketing through channels, smoldering in capacitors. An uncountable array of transistors are shuffling at impossible speeds. Sarah reels. It's an entirely new world inside of this box. Cool. And there's like a hot second where she's like forcing herself to like look at the visible light coming off of the screen instead of just looking at the. It would be like an IPS panel at the time, but the in-plane switching happening in the individual pixels, like it's wild, man. It's as if she stepped into outer space, drifting among stars that spell out 24-hour check cashing and... And don't walk. Is this all that's left? Has she finally gone blind? Yeah, I'd like to have something a little bit better. She can materialize letters. Where the hell is that? Oh, okay. All right, so that, and then there's the other point that you missed earlier. Cool. Yeah, I think that clause should be a separate sentence. That's a good call. Okay, so I'm gonna transition this a little bit. So in the story initially, like her vision starts to come back or whatever, but that's just dissipating the potential for drama right there. So we're gonna work on that a little bit. Yeah, we're working on it there. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm like about almost like burned out of how many hold on. It's 514 1 2 3 4 5 6 more pages to go in this guy. Whew. Yeah, this I guess this day is just really all about uh yeah, so we have to rewrite a great deal of this. And yeah, so the I'm definitely finding the extended fasting or whatever is fucking with my ability to write here. Yeah, I'm like drawing for energy at the back of my head, and it's just not there. So this wasn't a good idea. Mm. Yeah, my brain needs calories to do this work, or probably it doesn't give a shit, but it's definitely distracting. I did seem preoccupied. Yeah, yeah. Like well, the thing is, like I like skipped I guess dinner last night, and like what was I trying to do? So I skipped dinner, worked pretty hard all day, and then was like, oh, I'll just try this fasting thing for a couple of days or something. But yeah, it's like taking a toll. I think I might be like lacking some of like the basic carbohydrates necessary to work at this Olympiad athlete level of mental processing there. Or maybe I'm just dumb because I slept too long, or maybe I'm just being fucking lazy. from because it's a difficult chapter and it's long, but so breakfast is critical for thinking men such as. I'll tell you what. One thing that I'm finding, I've always found, is that I can't write well after breakfast. Like even eating a croissant or something like that, I see a tremendous reduction in output. There's something about being on an empty stomach, but I think this might be like a situation where you're like, yeah, your fucking glucose reserves are completely depleted, asshole. What's your brain supposed to run on? So yeah, this might be a failed experiment in fasting. Or it might be that it would be smart to like take Sundays off or something like that and just fast through that day. I do wonder if like taking one day off a week would result in better editing, because you can see as like we've gone through the course of this whole thing, our productivity has kind of gone from like this slow kind of decline thing. Wait, hold on, what's happening? Okay, cool, yeah. And it seemed for hold on. All right, cool. Yeah, I'm just seeing if our frame rate was dropping or whatever there. I don't know. You know, this is all an experiment for me. I got to figure out what works and what don't work. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot anyway. This was a mistake. Sarah shouldn't have come here. Shouldn't have spent so long on the computer. Now she's stuck in the spectrum. Stranded on this sidewalk with no way to get back to the hotel. I like that, yeah. She has no phone and no one she can call for help. Let's see. heart is beating too fast. Her chest is getting tight. She gasps for air. Yeah. That's not how it would actually. We need to like stop for a second and think about how would this actually feel. So, I've been in this. Like I actually like was on a subway where I started to go blind, and holy fuck. She keeps gasping, but she can't get air. Are you all right? Okay, I'm going to stop here because this is... yeah, we've been in this for like 2.5 hours, and I can see that we're going to do a rewrite on this thing, so there's like a little bit more drama from the idea of being blind instead of this whole thing. So I need to read through this thing, and potentially let's start back at this chapter from the beginning. I'm not sure that we'll do more editing today, but I think we've made like some okay progress here. And we did edit back through chapter 64, which really needed it here. What do we get into today? So we did about half of chapter 65. But yeah, I can, you know, I'm not fooling anybody here, trying to get through it. What do we got? Yeah, just 946 words, but whew. And that is 228. Okay, and then we're going to start at the beginning of chapter 65 there. Yeah, I can't get discouraged by the lack of progress. Because later in the book, just and I'm just saying this kind of like as a warning to myself, the chapters are much shakier, because this is where, like, by this point in the rewrite, I'm just like, you know, just breezing through the whole thing, and now I'm paying a terrible price for the whole thing. I may try to do some work on chapter 65 off camera a little bit later today, but yeah, right now I gotta fucking do something here. I'm not liking this no glucose situation right here. Maybe that long fasting is not for me, but we'll see what it's all about. All right, so thanks for your help, and I'll catch y'all later.